This is deep, up into the night. Back goes Doyle. Track. Wall. See you later, Bryce Terang. Wow.
Our Brewers Rockies coverage starts tonight at 7:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Wednesday, April 9th. Your top story, continuing to react to the latest round of tariffs.
I'm Jessica Tighe. We're in for a messy few hours ahead.
Cloudy with a mix of rain and snow, some slushiness and accumulation possible, a high of 42. That wintry mix ends this evening. Cloudy with a low of 34. 46 and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee. At 11:01 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, a new round of tariffs against dozens of countries is in effect with a 104% tariff in place on goods imported from China. China, in return, has announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns gets the reaction from lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
Starting to see some interest among some Republican lawmakers in terms of clawing that back, re-exerting their authority over trade and tariffs. There is a bill in the Senate sponsored by Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa to do just that, have Congress have more input, buy-in in some of these trade deals. That's not retroactive.
The EU is also adopting its first levies to hit back at the president's tariffs.
A longtime Republican Wisconsin congressman says he's nervous about President Trump's tariffs.
Congressman Glenn Grothman says in his decade in Washington, he's never seen anything like the current aggressive tariff action.
I don't want it to become a long-term tax on the American people used to balance the budget. That'd be a mistake.
He says he understands that Wisconsinites are nervous.
I'm a little nervous until we see how it shakes out. I think everybody's a little bit nervous. We're going to know a lot more where this winds up in 4 or 5 weeks from now.
John Merkier, WTMJ News.
An update to a story that we've been following on WTMJ. A former warden at Waupun Correctional Institution agrees to plead a misconduct charge.
Randall Hepp has a plea and sentencing hearing scheduled for April 28th. He had previously pled not guilty to the felony charge last August. Hepp is among 9 former employees at the state's oldest prison, originally charged in connection with the deaths of 2 inmates in February of 2024. Both inmates' bodies were not discovered until several hours after their deaths. The Wisconsin State Journal reports Jeremy Chalker, a former correctional officer at Waupun, had his charges dismissed earlier this month. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
No explanation after international students at the universities of Wisconsin had their visas revoked.
13 current and former UW-Madison students on work extensions at the university have had their visas revoked by the Trump administration. The school believes the cancellation of visas are not related to campus protests that have taken place across the country. The university has said it supports international students, faculty, and staff that are important members of the UW-Madison community. The university says it has no knowledge of federal law enforcement activity on campus. Sean Verinda, WTMJ News.
The IRS acting commissioner Melanie Krause is resigning over a deal to share immigrants' tax data with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE. News Nation's Tom Dempsey.
This is part of the IRS's information sharing agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, which allows DHS to get data like the addresses of illegal immigrants ordered for removal within the past 90 days. Critics say the agreement violates privacy laws. In a statement to News Nation, the assistant DHS secretary says that by doing this, by sharing this information, the Department of Homeland Security can better identify public safety threats and better enforce immigration policies.
Krause is the agency's third leader since President Trump took office. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Some mixed results today. The Dow is currently down about 100 points at 37,550. NASDAQ is up about 85 points at 15,350. S&P 500 bouncing back and forth, currently about 6 points in the red at 49.77. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Bobby came back, and wow, did the Bucks come back. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-810-3588. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588.
A buck in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of four. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers look to make it 2 in a row over the Rockies tonight in Colorado. Great start to that series. A 7-1 win. Catcher William Contreras with his first home run of the year as part of that win. Pat Murphy would like to see more of that from his catcher.
He's doing a fabulous job behind the dish. It goes unnoticed. I don't think the general baseball fan understands how important the catcher is in our whole thing. You know, he's like the quarterback, calls all the pitches, but to see his offense come alive would be really nice. So hopefully it continues.
Coverage of tonight's game begins at 7:05. The Bucks currently occupy the 5th position in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Just 3 games remain on the regular season schedule, and an outside chance they could move up to the number 4 spot. Bucks take on the Pelicans Thursday night in Milwaukee. And in golf, it's Masters Week, underway at Augusta National with the annual Par 3 contest. Amazingly, no golfer has ever won the Par 3 contest and the actual tournament in the same year.
Let's check out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We do have one crash. It's on 4194 North at the Illinois state line. Left shoulder blocked due to a crash, just the left shoulder. I-4194 North at the Illinois state line. No cameras reach that spot, so I can't see how bad it is, but I can tell you, just from looking at the map, that there are no significant backups. You can kind of see the traffic speeds on the map, and so that's some good news right there. Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods.
The all-new Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center in New Berlin and Fox Point.
A wintry mix expected to develop later today. It's going to be slushy stuff that accumulates a high of 42. Won't stick around all that long. The ground temperature and air temperature both warm enough. Cloudy tonight, a low of 34. Mostly cloudy on Thursday. Slight chance of rain, a high of 42. Friday looks pretty good. Mostly sunny, a high of 51 degrees inland. Saturday, we could hit 60 degrees inland. Sunday, potentially 66 inland with a slight chance of a shower late. On the up here. 46 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
How you got any sleep last night after the Bucks' 24 points come from behind win in the fourth quarter? I have no idea. The Bucks were down 24 points with 10 minutes left in the game and ended up winning by 7.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Never leave early.
Crazy.
So many people were leaving early. Even one of my friends, He texted and he said, I'm out of here. And there was quite a bit of the game to go, but we were down like 20 points. And I always keep the faith. And sure enough, man, the Bucks came back.
Yeah, so those who are sports writers and work in the business know this to be one of those games where you start writing your story halfway through the third quarter and the Bucks are down 20 and it's a sluggish performance and the offense just wasn't quite there. That is one of those where you just take it and back in the day you rip up your paper and toss it and have to start over.
See, that's so funny that you say that because I was always one of those people who I never believed in writing the story early. Because some people would say to save you time, write the story early. And I was like, no way, you can't do that because you don't know what the story is going to be. I mean, you can guess, but I don't like that idea either. So I never did that. My whole career, never did that. Always went to the story, did the interviews, and then I wrote it. And there's a reason. There's a reason. Because I don't want to rip it up, and I also don't want to, guess what's going to happen.
Well, our good friend Eric Name, he is a writer for The Athletic, will join us at tomorrow's program. We'll see if he put his delete button to use last night. Pretty entertaining game.
I did happen to see him, by the way, as we were going by. We got there a little bit earlier than usually. Usually we're kind of rushing to get there. And I saw Eric Name, and he was over. I don't know if he was getting food or not, but I thought about him because he hates that reverse cam. He's talked about that here on the show. And I saw him. I'm like, is he eating? Is he eating? Where are the cameras? Where are the cameras? So
they usually find him. Yeah, the reverse cam where food pops out of your mouth.
Yeah, he gives it a big thumbs down. He doesn't like that.
It's disgusting. It's 11:11. Some big stories that we're following here on a Wednesday morning.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, some of America's most recognizable companies are now weighing the implications of President Trump's trade war. ABC's Brian Clark has the details.
Walmart is scrapping its projected growth for the quarter, citing a need for flexibility, but the retailer left its yearly guidance unchanged for now. Delta, the nation's most profitable airline, did not. Delta scrapping its projected yearly growth and also shelving planned expansion for the second half of the year. The airline says bookings are down.
During an interview on CNBC this morning, Delta CEO Ed Bastian was asked if he still believes the U.S. economy will avoid a recession. He said he's concerned that's no longer the case.
Number 2, the Packers' annual tailgate tour rolls through Madison today, one day after pit stops in Milwaukee and Waukesha. Among the current players on the tour, defensive end Lucas Van Ness and tight end Tucker Kraft, who is spending the offseason in Green Bay. In fact, he never thought he'd even be a Packer.
Luke Musgrave, he was drafted before me, so I had completely crossed Green Bay, off the possibilities. And I saw the caller ID on my phone. I just thought, no way. What an opportunity. And I landed right exactly where I needed to be. Green Bay being the smallest, city for a franchise to be in, happens to be the largest city I've ever lived in.
I think that's a great comment from him, right? The South Dakota native, biggest city he's ever lived in. The week-long tour has stops planned in La Crosse, Wausau, and a wrap-up event in Green Bay. This is cool. They do pop-up stops at schools and hospitals and businesses, community centers, retirement homes. There's charitable components where they're giving back. The Packers don't have to do this. I guess that's what I really appreciated about it. They get alumni, Mark Murphy. It's the final tour for him as he enters retirement. And current players, they don't need to do this. Packers are still the king of the mountain when it comes to Wisconsin sports. But they do, and they do a nice cross-section of the state.
And it seems like they really enjoy doing it, too, which is awesome. Number 3, kick off State Fair with your cowboy boots. Wisconsin State Fair just revealed its main headliner for the first night.
People say I got a drinking problem. That ain't no reason to stop. People saying that I've hit rock bottom. Just 'cause I'm living on the rocks.
The country group Midland will perform the Bank 5-9 main stage on Thursday, July 31st. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Prices range, this one's for you, Gina. She was asking, from $35 to $49, and that includes admission to the fair that day.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Wisconsin State Fair runs July 31st through August 10th this year.
Right around the corner. It's 11:14 on WTMJ.
A whole day dedicated to us?
No, dedicated to you, the WTMJ fan.
Come celebrate WTMJ with us, your favorite WTMJ host, at a private tailgate at the Brewers game Saturday, May 17th.
Enjoy food, drinks, and hanging out with us. Plus tickets to the Brewers game as they take on the Twins at AmFam Field.
Get more information and secure your tickets at WTMJday.com.
Tickets will go fast, so sign up today. We'll see you at the ballpark for WTMJ Day, Saturday, May 17th.
Yeah, sounds good, John. See you there. Hey, Siding Unlimited has done it again. This is pretty amazing stuff. For the 5th time, Siding Unlimited has been recognized by Pella as their Pella Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year. They've won the award for the 5th time. That is a national award, and it's well-deserved for Siding Unlimited. It means they are the best installers of high-quality Pella products and other products. For that matter, LP SmartSide siding, the best in roof, shingles. You can even extend to your outdoor living space, decks, patios, pergolas, outdoor kitchens. You dream it up. Let Siding Unlimited knock it out of the park for you. They've done it for us, and they do an incredible job. It's a family-owned business. Eric and Aaron Brown have been doing it right, taking the business over from their father, who started a relatively small siding company back in the day. Well, now it truly is siding and a whole lot more at Siding Unlimited. Experts, quality of work, wonderful people. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Dry for now. Expect a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow to move in, and it'll be slushy, the stuff that falls, depending where you are in the listening area. Overall, the high today, we're kind of right at it. It's going to go down from here. Overnight low of 33 degrees. We will see a little warm up in temperatures beginning on Thursday, where we'll have a high of 51, 46 inland, 51 the high on Friday inland. Saturday's high 60 degrees away from the lake. Sunday's high 66. So a little warm-up trend, but kind of a crummy day once we get into the later afternoon hours. 45 degrees, full of clouds in Milwaukee at 11:16.
Greg, when was the last time you had a cancer screening?
I had a routine physical, and then I had a colonoscopy shortly after that. So that was, September, October, somewhere around there.
That's right. I remember you were gone for it, but you said it was okay.
It was fine. Certainly not for a lack of looking, but I've 3 years until I have to go back again for another colonoscopy.
So I had my mammogram this year, but I canceled my skin exam. There was a conflict with work, so I canceled it, then trying to reschedule it. The timing wasn't working out, and I just thought, okay, shoot, I'm going to have to call back, and I haven't rescheduled it. And I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt because I know it's important. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. A new study finds a number of people getting routine cancer screenings has dropped. The CEO of Prevent Cancer Foundation, Jody Hoyos, joins us live. Thanks for taking time for us, Jody, because this is important.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be able to talk about it with you today.
So let's dive into the results of this year's early detection survey. What did your group uncover about cancer screenings in the U.S.?
The Prevent Cancer Foundation does an annual early detection survey. And for the 2025 survey, what we found is that only 51% of adults in the U.S. reported that they had received a routine cancer screening or been to a routine medical appointment over the last year. And what's particularly troublesome about that is that it's a 10 percentage point decrease from what we found last year in 2024. So we're moving in the wrong direction with our routine medical appointments.
So, Jody, what do you believe is contributing to that decrease?
Really, very often, one of the main contributors is that people just don't know they need to be screened. So we know it's confusing. You know, there's a lot of information out there. But people not knowing they need to be screened is particularly the case for people who feel great. They have no signs or symptoms, and people who don't have a family history of cancer. So what we want people to know is that very often in the early stages of cancer, you would have no idea. Even if you're super in touch with your body, you know kind of what's normal for you, you probably wouldn't know if you have a cancer in the early stages. And the vast majority of cancer diagnoses are in people who have no family history at all. So routine cancer screenings are for everybody, and we want to make sure that people are getting them done.
Something else that I took note of when looking at the results, this year you saw a big jump in the number of people who said they are skeptical about the healthcare system. That's alarming. Why is that, and what can we do about it?
That's exactly right. So what we found is that 1 in 7 adults cited skepticism as the reason why they skipped their cancer screening. And it's a 38% increase. And very often skepticism is rooted in conflicting information, misinformation, not knowing what to do. So with people right now don't know what screenings they need, they don't know when they should be starting, and they don't know how frequently they should be going, it can create mistrust. It's a real problem. So we want to make sure people have the information that they need, that it's easy to find, it's easy to use. The healthcare system can be overwhelming. It really can be a lot for people to take on, and we want to make sure that that's not the reason that they're missing their screenings.
So, Jody, I think it's also a good time to clarify what exactly you can be screened for and what doesn't yet offer a screening.
So there's a great resources at preventcancer.org, so you can take a look at the screenings that you need at every age. There are routine screenings that we have now, which includes breast cancer screening, cervical cancer screening, colorectal cancer, lung cancer screening, and prostate cancer screening. The other checks or screenings that we have are for skin cancer, which I know we talked about at the top of the show, testicular cancer checks, and even oral cancer checks. So you may not realize that when you're going into the dentist, they should be and generally are looking for any signs of oral cancer.
This is your life. I mean, this is your day-to-day for work, preventing cancer. Do you have some stories that really hit home that you think our fans should know as to, you know what, this person could have died right here, but boom, this screening saved that person's life?
Every day we come across people that reach out and say, I'm so grateful that my cancer was detected early. Let me be a spokesperson to help other people. That's what it's all about. And it ranges cancers. It could be anything from skin cancer, or melanoma, breast cancer, cervical cancer. The power of sharing your story is very real. One of the good data points we have from the survey is that people who are informed about the benefits of early detection. So once they know, hey, it really matters if I find out in early stages, I can have better outcomes, there's more treatment options, it incentivizes them to get screened. So 73% of people said that knowing the benefits of early detection would encourage them to get screening. So people that are sharing their stories and the examples that we have of people come to us and say, let me do a blog, let me do a video, are really very helpful.
Jody, I'm curious as we talk about stories, we have some fans texting in right now with their stories in different ways. One from the 414 says, I actually have my first colonoscopy next week, Wednesday, and I couldn't be more nervous about the prep. Another person writes in from the 262, it's because insurance isn't covering most things anymore during a physical. Even a PSA prostate test no longer covered in some cases. It's ridiculous. What is your reaction to some of those comments that we're getting in?
Yeah, I love it that people are engaging on this. In terms of the colonoscopy prep, there's actually some great videos on Instagram where our team has gone through, like things, a shopping list, things you can expect, what to expect for your first colonoscopy. Totally normal to be nervous, especially for the prep. But there's often some funny stories and insight you can share with your friends once you go through it. But good for you for getting that screening. In terms of the insurance coverage, it can vary depending on the type of cancer screening and when you're getting your screening. So you do want to make sure you're talking to your provider about what is right for you and your insurance company if there is any issue. And often the provider's office can help you through that. But know that there are organizations like Prevent Cancer Foundation who every day are working on ensuring that there is legislation to cover the costs of screenings, any follow-up that needs to happen after a screening, for example, and that we're funding organizations in the community that provide these services at no cost or low cost. So there are people out there dedicated to this. So know that, and if there are questions that we can answer, then please do go to preventcancer.org or reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do to help you. The one thing I do want to make sure to note is that during your general physical, you are not getting a cancer screening. So that was confusing for some people. I think, for example, they thought that maybe when they were getting the doctors listening to their lungs, that's a lung cancer screening, and it's not.
Yeah.
So if you have a smoking history, you want to go and have basically a CT scan of your chest, and they'll take a look and see what's going on.
So much good information. Thank you so much. It's the CEO of Prevent Cancer Foundation. Thanks, Jody. We appreciate your work.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's 11:26. Top news and national headlines coming up next.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike during the nation's largest bike sale. That's right, the Wheel and Sprocket Bike Expo sale is back. And so is our trade-in, trade-up program, which means you can trade in your old bike for a gift card to use towards your new bike.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes. Over 2,000 brand new and used bikes on sale, along with thousands of accessories, from helmets and lights to car racks and more.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, trade in your old bike for a gift card towards a new bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 at the State Fair Park inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
Beer fans, travel lovers, and history buffs, this is your dream vacation. Join me, Sandy Max, on a 10-day journey through Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic. We'll enjoy Munich's famous beer halls, sip our way through Salzburg's historic breweries, and discover Vienna's culture and craft beer scene. Then end the tour in Prague, where ancient history meets modern brews. From iconic castles to authentic flavors. Grab your passport and let's raise a glass to the ultimate beer adventure. Limited spots available. Book now. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com to learn more.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Premium injection foam, filling your walls and saving you money from day one. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation do a full energy audit on your home or business to see where you're losing money. Then they help you score rebates and discounts that can cut the cost of your project in half. Then they get you 0% interest on financing for up to 72 months. It's a home improvement project that actually saves you money. Tell Jeff Vinny sent you to usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Tell us a little bit about Innovative Signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, oh yeah, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, April 9th. Your top story, a teen accused of murder heads to trial.
I'm Jessica Tighe, forgiving big debts for our veterans.
45 degrees, mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Global markets reacting to the next wave of uncertainty after President Trump's reciprocal tariffs on countries went into effect. Stocks here in the U.S. continuing losses. China retaliating, adding 84% on U.S. imports after the U.S. hit Chinese imports with 104% tariffs. President Trump insisting his policy is working, but some in his inner circle agree with economists that a trade war is bad for business and the U.S. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
The president says trade negotiations with some countries are happening. China wasn't one of them.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my They are dying to make it here.
The president's closest advisor is at odds. Billionaire Elon Musk publicly calling the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, a moron who's dumber than a sack of bricks.
The European Union also approving counter tariffs on U.S. products. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:31. A teen accused of killing his parents is headed to trial. 17-year-old Nikita Kasop faces 9 felony charges, including first-degree intentional homicide and hiding a corpse for the February deaths of his mother, Tatiana Kasop, and stepfather, Donald Mayer. Authorities allege that after the killings, Kasop lived with the bodies in their home for about 2 weeks before fleeing and then being arrested in Kansas. The prosecuting attorney is considering additional charges. Kasop will be arraigned on May 7th.
Asking for a new judge to hear his case. 40-year-old Michael Gerard made that request today after pleading not guilty to felony theft and computer crimes. Gerard worked as a Marquette University residence life worker and admitted to securing a decade of free rent for his university apartment by altering documents. He was granted that request for a new judge and is due back in court on May 15th.
Medical debt forgiveness coming for veterans. Verizon partnering with the Packers to forgive $3 million worth in the next 2 years. Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy.
I think we see that as a partnership where we can help each other. And, particularly the things that they're doing to relieve the debt of veterans, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's really impressive. And we're excited to be partnered with somebody like Verizon.
Eligible veterans across the state will get letters in the coming months notifying them that their debt has been forgiven.
Feeding students in need on campus. Kristen O'Brien from UW-Eau Claire's Student Office of Sustainability explains how food from dining halls makes a difference.
We will label it with what types of food, possible allergens, and then we will bring that down to our lower campus building where we have an on-campus food pantry called the Campus Harvest Food Pantry. So all those meals will be placed into those freezers, which can then be given to students for free for those who choose to utilize the food pantry on campus.
O'Brien says her office also has an app where students and faculty host free dinners for students who are food insecure.
Aiming to reduce alcohol consumption during Alcohol Awareness Month. Medical College of Wisconsin's Maureen Busalaki on Wisconsin's Afternoon News discusses how drinking sets an example for children.
We want to encourage people to think about alcohol-free days, maybe an alcohol-free weekend, and think about the impact on your kids. Like if they see you drinking all the time at every event, right, they model us over time.
Busalaki says consuming any kind of alcohol can increase the risk for developing cancer and other associated health problems.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce selected varieties Stone Ridge ice cream, 2 for $7. 18 to 24.6-ounce selected varieties Vandecamp's fish, $4.49. 4.5 to 5.3-ounce selected varieties Dan and Greek yogurt, 5 for $5. 9.5 to 10.75-ounce selected varieties Hostess mini donuts, 2 for $4.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
A Friday Lent fish fry is a family tradition. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Don't wait until Friday. During Lent, the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford serves their all-you-can-eat fish fry on Wednesday and Friday. And check this part out. It's $7.99. That's great value. Inflation's tough. They've got your back at the Mine Shaft. It's the best fish fry value anywhere, and it's delicious. I love the Mine Shaft fish fry. Every Wednesday, kids and grandkids 5 and under eat free from the kids' menu, and then they can safely play in that world-class game room quietly set aside from the dining area while you finish up dinner. Just perfect. The full super affordable menu is, of course, always available. Wherever you live, it's worth the drive to the Mine Shaft today for your Wednesday all-you-can-eat Lenten fish fry, and it's just $7.99. Desserts are buy one, get one free. I love that. In beautiful downtown Hartford and just off the interstate in Oshkosh, it's the Mine Shaft. Big food, big fun. Thursdays, buy one pizza, get a second pizza free. Check them out at mineshaft.restaurant.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers look to make it 2 in a row tonight, taking on the Rockies in Colorado. Coverage gets underway at 7:05 on WTMJ. Manager Pat Murphy hoping to see a little more offense out of catcher William Contreras, who homered last night.
Doing a fabulous job behind the dish. It goes unnoticed. I don't think the general baseball fan understands how important the catcher is in our whole thing. You know, he's like the quarterback, calls all the pitches, but to see his offense come alive would be really nice. So hopefully it continues.
And Brewers back above 500 after that 0-4 start. The Bucs currently occupy the 5th position in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Just 3 games remain on the regular season schedule, including at home against the Pelicans Thursday night. And Masters Week underway at Augusta National. Looks like a beautiful day. The annual Par 3 contest going on. This is amazing stuff, right? You get the golfers out there with their kids if they have them, all dressed in like a mini caddy suit, walking around with little putters. It's a very family-friendly event, the Par 3 contest.
These are like the preppiest-looking toddlers you've ever seen on the greenest grass. It's lovely.
There may be no better property in the planet than Augusta National.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We are still dealing with this crash right along the state border, 4194 north at the Illinois state line. Left shoulder is blocked due to a crash. The good news, left shoulder is blocked, but we are not seeing much of a backup, so hey, we will take that. Most of the state looking pretty good. The only other thing we have is over in Rock County in case you're traveling that way. I-43 north, about 2 miles beyond the ramp from Wisconsin 140. Right shoulder is blocked there also because of a crash.
Well, dry for now, but cloudy. Expect some rain to develop, maybe some snow mixed in, slushy accumulation possible, a high of 42. We're kind of at that point already. The wintry mix ends tonight, cloudy with a low of 34. Mostly cloudy on Thursday, slight chance of rain, a high of 42. Friday is when we begin a bit of a warm-up. High of 51 inland. On Friday, mostly sunny skies. Saturday, mostly sunny and a high of 60. Sunday, slight chance of a shower late, but otherwise sunny and inland high of 66 degrees. It's 45 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:38. Unconstitutional. That's the ruling from a federal judge in response to the White House's decision to punish the AP by eliminating its access to Trump-related events. Essentially, they're out of the press pool from the Oval Office to Air Force One, at least for now. Interestingly enough, the judge in the case is a first-term Trump appointee. As we welcome in ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Stephen, how is this going over? I find that interesting. It's a first-year appointee, a Trump appointee, and they've got a ruling against the administration.
Yeah, this is a ruling that is, a victory for the free press, for the Associated Press in particular, and for the First Amendment. What the judge, Trevor McFadden, found is that the White House was engaged in brazen viewpoint discrimination, separating out and excluding one news outlet exclusively because of its editorial decisions and its reporting. The AP said when President Trump signed the executive order that deemed the body of water off the southern coast of the U.S. the Gulf of America, the AP said because that was a designation for the American government and not for the rest of the world that the AP serves, that the AP would continue referring to the body of water as the Gulf of Mexico. And in response to that, as a punishment for that, the White House said, well, the AP can no longer cover the president, neither in the Oval Office nor in the East Room, the room that accommodates the largest groups inside the White House. The AP couldn't fly on the president's Air Force One plane. The AP was just completely frozen out, with a number of small exceptions where a photographer was allowed in. The same photographer who, by the way, took the famous photograph of the president after the assassination attempt last July at Butler, Pennsylvania, during the campaign. So the bottom line is the AP won yesterday in the district court, where the judge said that the Constitution forbids viewpoint discrimination, even in the president's own Oval Office. Once the doors are opened to reporters, the White House can't pick and choose and say, you're not allowed in because we don't like how you've reported the news.
Yeah, this basically affirms that the government can't punish the news organization for the content of its speech. I know there were 2 AP journalists who testified before the court. What did they say in particular about their experience?
You know, the judge really relied on the testimony of Zeke Miller, who's the chief White House correspondent for the AP, and Evan Vucci, the chief photographer for the AP in Washington. 2 veterans who I've worked alongside and served alongside Zeke as I was president of the White House Correspondents Association, served under Zeke as when he was president and I was vice president. So I know these people very well. Look, the bottom line is the judge understood from their testimony that the AP's journalism was set back because they weren't allowed in. Now, people might think, I can watch all this on YouTube, but why can't the AP reporters do the same thing? Well, the judge recognized the fact that, there's a difference between watching something on television or streaming something online and actually being there to report it out, because reporters and photographers can see the things that they personally observe in the space. They can ask questions, certainly reporters can. And, they see things beyond the narrow lens of a television camera that's focused on only one thing at a time. So the judge noted that the AP is at a distinct disadvantage relative to its wire service competitors, such as Bloomberg and Reuters, that have been allowed in. And the idea that, well, they can just wait 30 or 40 minutes for the news to kind of sort of wash over them puts them at a distinct disadvantage. You can imagine here at this radio station, if you had to wait 30 or 40 minutes to report something relative to your crosstown competitors, it really does set you back.
Yeah, irreparable harm is a term that I've seen used in this situation. Stephen, can the White House appeal the ruling?
It can. In fact, the judge has stayed his own opinion, his own ruling here, until Sunday to allow the White House the opportunity to take this up on appeal with the D.C. Circuit Court. But I will tell you, and this is something the judge himself said during one of the hearings, and that is that the D.C. Circuit is not particularly friendly when White Houses try to exclude reporters.
How well says the White House taking control of the press pool that covers Trump? Because it's changed.
Well, it's changed over the last couple of months.
True.
And that is, the White House Correspondents Association was founded in 1914 to allow for the reporters as a collective to essentially self-identify and say, we are reporters. The concern in Woodrow Wilson's day, prior to World War I, was that people who were trying to manipulate the stock market or seek particular legislative outcomes in Congress were going to sort of infiltrate the press corps, pretend to be reporters, and ask the president questions that might move markets or might affect outcomes on Capitol Hill. And as a check against, and to think about that, those are contemporary concerns that were present in 1914. As a check against that, the association was formed to say, we as reporters will be able to say, with some degree of confidence, that this individual is one of us, and we will grant credentials. Now, the WHCA credentialing power was taken away in the middle of the 20th century, in part because, frankly, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, there was structural racism and other problems. It was difficult for women to be credentialed. So the bottom line is, since I believe the Kennedy era, the White House has had the responsibility of admitting reporters into the White House, but the idea that the government grants credentials, it can't do so on a basis of viewpoint discrimination. You know, the White House, the government can't come in and say, well, I don't really think you're a reporter. That would be a bad thing because the government shouldn't be an arbiter of what journalism is, right? So the question is, where's the balance? You know, what are the president's rights here? He has to have people in his office he doesn't like? That's a key question. But the bottom line is the judge put in his opinion yesterday, once the door is open to reporters, you can't have the government coming in and saying, you, but not you, because I don't like what you've written.
Well, there's no ruling that says the president has to be friendly if they're allowed in the door, Stephen. I guess that's kind of a long-term sort of view. It may not be a comfortable situation. They'll be allowed in, potentially, but that's going to be a very interesting dynamic once they are allowed back in the press pool.
Well, and we'll see how this plays out. Look, again, the judge has stayed his order until Sunday. So last night there was an event. The AP was not permitted to come inside. And I think ultimately we'll see how the White House resolves this and how it makes its decisions. But maybe as soon as today, and maybe we'll be comforted to know that the AP is back in. But for the moment, this ruling does not yet take effect until Sunday, April 13th.
I like how the AP style book came into play in this, too. A lot of our fans probably won't realize what the AP style book is, but I go and refer to it sometimes. Let me be sure. How does the AP style book suggest we do this? But the AP style book has the Gulf of Mexico. It's carried that name for more than 400 years. And as a global news agency, it was kind of like, we don't want to step aside from that. We've been doing that for 400 years.
Well, there's that. And the fact is that, as I say, the AP serves clients all over the world. And while the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf, whatever you want to call it, the Gulf,
sure,
touches on several American states, it also touches on the country of Mexico. And Cuba, I think, has a border. And so the whole idea here is that it's not just an American body of water, it's an international body of water. And to what extent does one country have the power? What if Mexico wanted to come in and change it, say that it changed back? You know, look, this is the kind of thing that, generally speaking, each individual organization that writes about these things has the freedom to decide. We call them standards, which is a weird way of describing it. But, the AP has its style book or style guide. And the idea is that someone in each organization is an arbiter as to how it's going to be played by this particular organization. And everyone who works for that organization has to follow that set of rules because that's what the organization has decided. And the idea that the government would come in and say, well, I don't like what you've decided, I'm going to punish you for it, is exactly what the framers were concerned about when they wrote the First Amendment. The idea that people who publish the news would have to worry about what the government thinks about what's written, that is something that the framers were worried about in 1789.
Amazing stuff. Interesting ruling. The book's certainly not closed. That was great insight. ABC's Stephen Portnoy from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks so much.
You bet.
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano from Wisconsin's Morning News. It's baseball season, which means Brewers 360 is back every day at 8:40. Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Every day, all season long, we're joined exclusively by Brewers guests, including manager Pat Murphy and more. So Murphy, as we're wrapping up our interview.
Great talking. We really enjoyed it, okay?
I was like, you did? Is he just in a good mood, or what'd y'all do to Murph? We are your home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ.
Hey, all sorts of cool stuff happening right now at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. I've told you about the sports book. My goodness, that place is incredible. You want to watch some golf, you want to watch some hoops, you want to watch some baseball, you name it, it'll be on at the sports book. That 2,000 square foot video wall is unlike anything I've ever seen. It is the place to be to watch sports in Wisconsin. They got the kiosks, they've got the counter, you name it. You'll enjoy great food, drink specials, there's a VIP deck. Check out the sportsbook. And while you're at it this April, prepare for an incredible quest to $300,000. They've got the Enchanted Spins slot tournament going on. Get your rewards card ready and play your favorite slots to earn drawing entries. Every Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands in cash and prizes. It's only at Potawatomi. More info online, and hope to see you at the sportsbook.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Enjoy a free dinner this week at the historic Fox and Hounds, one of the most unique and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds, one of my very favorite places. You will enjoy fabulous food and 90 years of history in the gorgeous stone and timber building. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free every single night, free. Seafood, choice steaks, short ribs, a real favorite, pasta, prime rib Wednesday and Saturday, even the steak and lobster, your second dinner is always free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. I love that chocolate cake with the extra ice cream. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons to choose from, 100 wines from around the world. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, escape from your kitchen with a free dinner this week. Man, that sounds great. Call and reserve, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
The most common reason pain sufferers come to us is to be able to perform their daily tasks without suffering through them. Grandparents who want to be able to take their grandkids on walks and to the park. Or those that just want to be able to get out of their vehicle with more ease than pain. Rejuvenex pain treatments can help, and the sooner you get to calming down that pain, the better it will be. These are powerful, FDA-approved pain treatments precisely administered with an extremely small needle to get to the root of your pain. And before you know it, you'll feel the anti-inflammatory power of Toradol and the cushioning relief of hyaluronic acid. Positive patient results are regularities, not rarities. And we do this conveniently in office, so it's very easy for you. And we're in network with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, which could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
The weather at Augusta National looks a little better than it does today here in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess in Milwaukee.
It just looks perfect out there. My goodness.
It does kind of look like the clouds were painted, too.
I know.
Like, let's paint a few fluffy white clouds here.
Somebody's out there with a hairdryer opening up the azaleas. Yeah, not the issue you'll have in Milwaukee today. You'll get to a point where it's a mix of rain and snow today. Some slushy accumulation is possible. Not a great day. High of 45 degrees. We're at that right now. Overnight low of 32. Tomorrow's high 46. Bit of a warm-up later in the week in the 50s Thursday and Friday. Or I should say Friday and Saturday. We could hit 66 inland on Sunday. 45 degrees and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:51. It's a really cool story here. The NFL Draft is on the horizon. April 24th. It begins in Green Bay. And a Milwaukee-based artist will have his work prominently displayed to those walking across the stage during the draft.
My name is Ike, and I am a wood artist who has never stained or painted a piece of wood in his life. So every color and texture that you see is actually from something that I found. The NFL actually reached out to me to do this project because the theme for this year's NFL Draft in Green Bay is built by community. Because this is such a community-driven part of the country. This project took over 600 hours to complete and is created from over 50 pieces of furniture that I found right here in Wisconsin. But the absolute best part of this project is that the NFL didn't know that they hired the grandson of a former NFL player. My grandfather, Ray Kuffel, who was drafted to the Buffalo Bills in 1944. I never got to meet this man, but now working on something 81 years later is just something super special for our family. I can't wait to finally debut all this art at the NFL Draft this year, and I just want to say thank you again to the NFL for this opportunity.
Really cool story, really interesting guy. That was from Winter's Instagram page. He was in studio yesterday with Kristen on Spanning the State. So these logos are 3x3, and I mean 3 foot by 3 foot.
They're so sharp.
For all the 32 teams in the NFL using only reclaimed wood. There's no paint, there's no stain. It is all wood and stuff that he's just sort of found.
This is like, a tree went down and he's got some wood that he sees, honestly, in an alley sometimes on the side of the road. To me, that's the coolest part about this. It's just like, okay, here's some wood. Looks great. What can I do with this? And that's his whole thing. I mean, he's really gone viral for his woodworking. And I love, too, that the NFL just found him. I mean, they found him on social media, and they were like, this is really cool. Let's see if we can get this guy involved.
When I told the NFL, I was like, I can do this, but we can't do color. I spent about 3 weeks straight just finding wood. It was like 50 pieces of furniture. It was all dressers and entertainment centers.
Yeah, so you ever wonder who the person is that when you put a desk out to your curb and you want somebody just to take it and put free on it? Like, who in the world would take that? It's probably Ike.
Yeah, it might
driving around in a truck just grabbing stuff, literally stuff that would otherwise be junk, scrap wood. He puts it to use in a very unique way.
And I had seen some of his stuff on social media. I think there was a piece with the Bucks a while back that went viral. So I think that's maybe the first time that I saw him. But what I didn't know was that he was the grandson of a former NFL player. So as he said, it does make this, his assignment that he has right here, even more special.
Yeah, it really ties it all together. So the NFL gave him a little more than 2 months to complete the project. It took him less than 40, but hundreds of hours packed into that month and change.
There's 500 hours of cutting wood. So the other hundreds of hours were like designing, finding the wood, stuff like that. It was 500 hours in 39 days.
39 days, 500 hours. And he admits the Packers logo pretty easy, not too complex, but there were some far more challenging than others.
Ones that took the longest were the Jaguars and the Buccaneers and the Browns.
So if you look at the Jaguars logo, there's a bunch of spots.
Right.
To
much more intensive.
On a jungle cat, you'll have that. So it just, the amount of cutting he had to do for that logo alone was incredible. The Cleveland Browns, well, they don't really have a logo or a mascot, but their logo is their helmet, which contains the face mask, which is full of crossbars. So very intricate cutting. It's unbelievable the work that he's able to do. His Instagram page is fantastic.
It is really a fascinating talent. And this is so neat, too, because the logos are going to line the walkway of the draft theater.
Yes.
So think about that. All the incoming NFL players, they're going to go by that, and they're going to see that.
I wish somebody could be there to tell the story of the logos, right? I can only imagine somebody walking through and maybe getting a picture by the team logo that drafts the player who's walking through. This will be prominently displayed on night 1. Night 2, night 3, those draftees aren't really in the house anymore, right? The name is read and everybody claps. You move on to the next pick. But on night 1 of the draft, his work will be prominently displayed.
Yeah, kudos to him. Way to go.
11:56 on WTMJ. News is coming up.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management.
For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Greg Matzek here, reminding you, do not let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis. They've got incredible inventory and brands like CHI and LiftMaster in stock, ready to go for you. They also have doors for every budget and can go the custom route if you need to. I've been to their showroom in Brookfield. In fact, they had a small project. Geis took care of it in an instant. They treat every project with respect and quality craftsmanship. Swift and reliable garage repair solutions are available. Just visit geisdoors.com. You can also stop by that showroom in Brookfield. It's right off Barker Road. You'll see what I've seen. Hundreds of doors of openers and their amazing custom design room. Don't think twice. Call Geis and visit geisdoors.com.
Brew City is ready to celebrate the draft's return to Wisconsin. Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook, April 24th through the 26th. It features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, its attractions, brews, pubs, restaurants, and venues. The festivities culminate on Saturday, April 26th with Jordy Nelson's Milwaukee Tailgate with Inside the Huddle Live. Buy your tickets now for only $10 and learn more at visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
If the amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football player Bobby Carpenter, imagine the potential for your aching joints.
So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I played football for a number of years. I looked at talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided hey, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there and they look at the knee. Hey, here's the program that we can put you through.
That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime.
The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. So you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
The crew are out in Colorado to hit that Rocky Mountain high.
Get in the air, that one into center. This is deep, up into the night. Back goes Doyle, track, wall. See you later, Bryce Terang. Wow.
Our Brewers Rockies coverage starts tonight at 7:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, April 9th. Your top story, taking action against the president over deportations.
I'm Jessica Tighe, revoking visas for international students here in Wisconsin.
Clouds have rolled in. Expect a little bit of rain and maybe some snow later this afternoon and evening. Some slushy accumulation is possible, a high of 42. We're actually exceeded that right now. Temperatures will drop into the low 30s tonight. Tomorrow's high 43 degrees. 45 and mostly cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:01. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, federal judges in 2 states taking legal action against the Trump administration for deportations using a rarely used wartime statute.
Judges in both New York and Texas have granted temporary restraining orders blocking the administration from moving 5 Venezuelans out of the country until they can fight the government's attempt to deport them under the Alien Enemies Act. 3 of the men are being detained in a facility in Texas, the other 2 in New York. All of the men were identified as belonging to the Tren de Aragua gang, a claim they deny. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Federal funding frozen for 2 more universities.
More than $1 billion in funding for Cornell and $790 million for Northwestern is on hold as the administration expands its crackdown on anti-Semitism on college campuses after recent pro-Palestinian protests. Both universities say they haven't gotten any official word about funding freezes, though Cornell says it did receive dozens of stop work orders from the Defense Department on research important to national defense, cybersecurity, and health. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Besides federal funding, the Trump administration revokes visas of 27 current and former UW System students on work extensions at the university. 13 of those students attended UW-Madison. School administrators believe the cancellations are not related to campus protests that have taken place across the country and had no knowledge that federal law enforcement were doing anything on campus. Services and legal support are being provided to the affected students.
He is headed to trial for killing his parents. Nikita Kassup faces 9 felony charges, including first-degree homicide and hiding the bodies of his mother and stepfather. Investigators found Kassup traveled to multiple places after the killings. Waukesha County Detective Ross Seitz.
We obtained information showing previous locations of the phone on the 24th in Walcott, Iowa, and I believe the 25th in Nebraska.
Kassup was also traced to a gas station in Wyoming through surveillance cameras, credit cards, and cell phone tracking. He's due back in court for his arraignment on May 7th.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. We've seen a surge from the Dow, currently up about 450 points at 38,100. NASDAQ up today nearly 400 points at 15,640. S&P 500 up about 75 points at 5,059. Annex Wealth Management, know the difference.
Bobby came back, and wow, did the Bucks come back last night. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. We talk all the time about Tri-County Contracting, the place to go for roofs and siding, but don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also does windows. Need a new front entry door? Tri-County Contracting, or maybe a patio door that's always jammed. Get your free estimates today. They've been helping homeowners like you for 46 years. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
For those with a warm weather fashion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. Imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Rockies tonight. It's game 2 of a 3-game series. Milwaukee takes the opener 7-1. Including in the win, a home run for William Contreras, his first of the year, trying to get the offense going a little bit for Pat Murphy.
He's doing a fabulous job behind the dish. It goes unnoticed. I don't think the general baseball fan understands how important the catcher is in our whole thing. He's like the quarterback, calls all the pitches, but to see his offense come alive would be really nice. So hopefully it continues.
Coverage of tonight's game begins at 7:05. And after a dramatic 24-point fourth quarter comeback, the Bucks have 3 games on the regular season schedule, including Thursday night against the Pelicans. Milwaukee currently in the 5th position in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And in golf, Masters Week is underway at Augusta National. The annual Par 3 contest is underway. No golfer has ever won both the Masters Par 3 contest and the actual tournament in the same year.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. We do have a new crash just happened minutes ago in Milwaukee County. The ramp from I-41 894 North to I-94 West is closed right now because of a crash. Once again, that's the ramp from 41 894 North to 94 West that is creating a significant backup. So just a heads up, this crash just happened. Good news, down towards the state line. The crash that was at the border, the Illinois border, that one has now cleared. Traffic sponsored by Hair Construction.
If your home has a septic or mound system, you're invited. Join Hair Construction for a free seminar on keeping it working right. Visit hair, HERRcorp.com for details.
Cloudy with a little bit of afternoon and evening rain and snow mixed in. Some slushy accumulation is possible, a high of 42 degrees. We're actually a little bit above that right now in Milwaukee. That wintry mix ends tonight, a low of 34. Cloudy, slight chance of rain on Thursday, a high of 42. 51 under sunny skies on Friday. 60 inland and sunny on Saturday. Looks like a winter. Sunday's high 66 inland, 57 closer to the lake. 45 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzek and Jessica Tighe.
A tradition unlike any other. It's Wisconsin's Midday News on WTMJ, the Wednesday edition. Do you like how I incorporated a line from the Masters into our program today?
Ah, lovely. I feel like the Masters just takes you down, though. We should be talking like this.
Doesn't it?
And
Yeah.
just very calmly and quiet, and there goes that ball into the hole.
It's really cool. They got the par 3 contest, so there's a bunch of kids running around, kids of the players. I saw Max Homa, who's a golfer on tour. He was actually using his kid's putter. His kid must be 3 years old, on the green during the par 3 contest. And he made a nice long putt.
Lots of pastel colors out there, and pinks,
Beautiful.
too.
Absolutely
it
beautiful.
is stunning.
We are going to talk golf coming up in about 10 minutes. Chris Schoonover, who is a friend of mine and also the director of tournament operations for the U.S. Women's Open at Erin Hills. That's right. There'll be major golf at Erin Hills coming up in a little over a month, which is amazing to think about.
So nice to show off that course again. Show off Wisconsin.
Absolutely beautiful. We'll get the latest on volunteers and tickets and all that stuff coming up in just a few minutes. It's 12:10. We have flipped to the noon hour. Some big stories that we're on top of today.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Well, it's not just Canadian consumers anymore. People are starting to boycott U.S. goods in Europe, too.
Consumer sentiment against the U.S. is particularly strong in Denmark, whose territory, Greenland, President Trump has said he wants to acquire. Many Danes are canceling their Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple TV subscriptions. And a Danish Facebook group with 90,000 members helps Danes find non-U.S. made alternatives to everything from shoes to lawnmowers. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
I don't know, canceling that Apple TV, I think that says something, because think about it, especially in the winter. There's so many people, they like their favorite show. If you're really getting into it and it's appointment viewing, though it's not appointment viewing like the old days because you can stream it whenever you want. But if you love that show, to say, I'm mad at the U.S. and I'm getting rid of that, that's different.
Well, now that's part of your entertainment, right? That's part of how you get away from stuff that's bothering you, whatever
True.
it is.
Yeah, you
right?
zone out for a moment. Yeah. Something else, Denmark's largest grocery store operator now marks European-made brands with a star. At least it's not marking U.S.-made goods with an X.
Well,
right? Looking on the bright side?
Different approach, I guess. 104% tariff on Chinese imports in place. China retaliating, boosting its tariffs on U.S. goods again. ABC News foreign correspondent Britt Clennett is in Hong Kong.
China hitting back with an 84% tariff on U.S. imports to take effect on Thursday after President Trump more than doubled tariffs on China, with Beijing refusing to meet the president's deadline to walk back its own retaliatory levy on the U.S. Now, the Chinese tariff, it is an increase from the 34% already imposed on American imports.
As uncertainty continues to affect the markets, Trump is standing by his overall plan.
The president says trade negotiations with some countries are happening. China wasn't one of them.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my. They are dying to make a deal.
The president's closest advisor is at odds. Billionaire Elon Musk publicly calling the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, a moron who's dumber than a sack of bricks.
Well, that's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Great news for Mega Millions players. Your odds of winning the jackpot are improving. But, and this is a big but, it's going to cost you more to purchase a ticket.
The saying goes, you have to play to win. And now you have to pay more to play. Mega Millions is going up from $2 to $5. Lottery officials for the multi-state lottery say it will boost jackpots and improve your odds of winning ever so slightly from 1 in 303 million to 1 in 290 million. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
There you go. Yeah.
That's significant, though.
Which part?
Well,
the ticket cost or the odds?
The ticket cost. I mean, the odds going up, that's great. But if you're one of those people who only plays every once in a while, it's like the odds of winning are still, whoo.
Well, if I'm paying more than double the ticket cost, I'd like the odds of winning to be cut in half.
Okay, so the new baseline starting jackpot is $50 million.
Okay.
That's no joke. The only states where Mega Millions is not played, Nevada, Utah, Alabama, Hawaii, and Alaska. So most people, well, not most people, but most states are playing, right? You've got the opportunity to do so. Drawings are Tuesday and Friday nights at 10, and there is no change in the cost of a Powerball ticket.
Yep, they're different.
So if you're debating, okay, I don't know if I want to spend that much for Mega Millions anymore, maybe you want to go over to Powerball. I bet some people are doing both if you're doing this. Powerball ticket's still $2. But remember when it was $1? Wasn't it $1 a long time ago?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I think that was a big deal when it went up to $2.
I'm trying to think when that might have been. Not that I play often. I'm just trying to think if during my lifetime as an adult, my ability to purchase one of these tickets, if I've ever paid less than $2 for it. I guess I don't play often enough to remember when I bought my first one and what it cost.
I don't either. I typically only play when I'm covering it and it's just huge. But gosh, I'm going to have to Google that now. I swear at one point they were just $1.
That always cracks me up, right? The pot gets up to like 790 million, and all of a sudden you're doing the work thing and you're grabbing friends and everybody's buying tickets. What, like 220 million isn't enough when it's that low?
I don't know. And some of these people who win these mega jackpots, especially Powerball, I remember doing a story about a man in West Virginia. It was like he won the Powerball and then his life just crashed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that happens to everybody, but it does happen. There's this weird kind of thread, just a chorus of this happening.
I would appreciate the opportunity to be as anonymous as possible.
And you can't be anonymous in every state. Some states you can.
That's tough. You bet. 12:15 on WTMJ. Let's talk golf on the other side. The U.S. Women's Open. We are getting closer and closer to this incredible major event at Erin Hills. Chris Schoonover joins us on the other side with an update on volunteers, tickets, you name it. We'll discuss it after this.
$1 in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of 4. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Hey, there's a winning formula, and it's at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. Greg Matzek urging you to get down and check out the sports book. It is an unbelievable place to watch sports. Maybe the best place in the state. Never really seen anything like it. The video wall is 2,000 square feet. Wrap your mind around that for a second while you're wrapping your hands around a buffalo chicken wrap or a chicken Caesar wrap. You name it. The food is fantastic. Full-service bar. There's a VIP deck. Enjoyed watching tournament games there and games throughout the football season. You'll enjoy it as well. If you've not seen it, you're missing out. It's at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee, the beautiful Potawatomi Sportsbook.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Well, kind of a nasty day. Not a great day to break out the sticks, that's for sure. It looks nicer at Augusta National. It typically does this time of year. 42 degrees the high, some rain and snow mixed in later this afternoon and evening. Overnight low of 33, up to 43. On Thursday, we cracked 50 on Friday and could touch 60 inland on Saturday and Sunday. 45 degrees and cloudy in Milwaukee, approaching 12-18. Greg and Jessica with you. It's Wisconsin's Midday News, and we're talking golf here. We got one of our screens in our studio has the Masters Par 3 contest.
That ball is spinning.
Just came up a little bit short, right?
Short of the hole.
This is one of the great days to be at Augusta National. I don't know if there's a bad day to be at Augusta National, but golf is on our mind this week. For anybody who enjoys the Masters, it is really the kickoff to the world of major golf in the calendar year, men and women's. Well, coming up in just a couple of months here, the 80th U.S. Women's Open will take place at Erin Hills. An incredible event. We've had a men's U.S. Open, now a women's U.S. Open, May 28th to June 1st. Chris Schoonover is the Director of Tournament Operations for the event and joins us in studio. Hi, Chris.
Thank you.
I thought maybe, just maybe, when I asked you if you'd be able to join us, you'd say, no, Greg, sorry, at Augusta. Can't make it this week. But
I'm right there with you, watching it on TV.
Have you ever been there? Have you ever been to Augusta National?
I have. I had an opportunity in 2010 with my father, who has now passed away. But we did the lottery ticket. We got in, and all of a sudden, here's 3 practice round tickets in 2010. So quite memories for me.
So exciting. This has to be an exciting time by you right now, too, because it's getting closer, and you have a couple people already on site. What are they doing to prepare? Who's there?
Well, with the USGA, we have volunteers are a big component to running the tournament. So we're full at over 2,000 individuals that have given their time. Katie Kluge, who's from the Oconomowoc area, actually is a full-time employee of the USGA, and so she's with us. We were stuffing the credential packets the other day, and so it's nice to have that. But on the other end of it, we had a week and a half ago 20 semis bringing in flooring and scaffolding for the on-course corporate hospitality and a lot of temporary structures that are going to go up with media centers and things. So, yeah, it really feels like it's here. We're actually 49 days and a couple of hours, but
you've got the
there.
countdown.
We do. I don't know if that's good or bad some days.
That's good.
You know, I think we spoke last time, Chris, about the opportunity to be a part of this as a volunteer. It does not surprise me that you've kind of achieved your quota for volunteers. Do you have a waiting list right now? How does that work?
Yeah, they do. A lot of it can come through either info at, Erin Hills, but USGA has that. But it's really kind of to that point where it's just the love of golf here in the state. The community knows what they need to do, from fan services to corporate hospitality to the practice range. We're excited that we have a lot of young high school teams that are going to be manning that practice range to be inside the ropes with those best players. So it's really a fun family event, and it really is a family event too.
Are we getting close to the time that Erin Hills typically opens? And do you have some people who maybe aren't in the know or heard about the Women's Open coming, but just don't realize that just want to get out and play golf? And you have to say, well...
Well, we made that decision last year that typically we're that first weekend in May, but we didn't in 2017 open up until after the Men's Open, which is the third week in June. And so we did the same. We won the same playing conditions as best as we can for the women as we did for the men. So we will open up after the tournament, which is on June 7th, and we're already booking for 2026. And as you can imagine, everybody loves golf, so we're getting full that way too.
That is going to be amazing to hear the reaction of the players who walk onto Erin Hills, maybe for the first time, and see a course that has 0 divots and 0 punch marks on the green, right? You're not going to be aerating that week, no. I can't imagine. Just as pristine as the course can possibly be, it will be.
It will be. And that's, and here we are in these cooler temperatures, but our soil temperatures are moving up in the right direction. Obviously, this weekend is going to be there. Zach Reineking, our superintendent, senior director of course maintenance, he's been through this a number of times. And he understands that, it might feel like things look a little brown, but the golf course itself is in good shape. A couple of weeks ago, we took off the tarps. The good growth is underneath there. And we've actually started to mow and put some water down. So can you imagine when we get to the 60s and what that temperature is going to do, and things are going to really pop?
That's going to be lovely. The field is starting to take shape. For those people who really pay attention to golf and to the ladies specifically, what can you tell us about the ladies who will be playing?
Yeah, well, first on the, what's great about the Open is it has amateurs and it has, professionals. So it's our women's national championship. And just last week we got a call and they told us that, less than 2,000 or just under 2,000 individuals had qualified across the country to try to qualify for the tournament. From a 9-year-old up to a 61-year-old that are in the field.
9-year-old.
There's 17 individuals from the Wisconsin area that are going to try to qualify. So we're excited to see. Hopefully they will come through. And then, now they're going through, and one of my favorites right now is Alison Corpus. She's playing really well on the LPGA Tour. And the story was in 2008, we had the women's public links, and she qualified to be at 10 years old. And now she's coming back as one of our champions in 2023 from Pebble. So a lot of great names. Everybody's, Charlie Hall. Everybody likes that as the English player that has made the exemption, and then Nelly Corda too. So a lot of favorites.
In a previous life, I interned for the American Junior Golf Association. And it's always fascinating to me to look at the roster of people who are playing in a given tournament and still pick out names of players who were juniors when I was an intern. Paula Creamer comes to mind. She was there's a number of them. Brooke Hull was another one. People who know golf know these names. But it's cool to me. I had a great interaction with Webb Simpson during the men's U.S. Open. And I said his name. I was like, Webb, former AJGA intern. And he stopped in his tracks, turned, and walked to me with a big smile. And we had a great conversation about a tournament that I had worked when he was a teen playing in North Carolina. So it really is fascinating to watch the growth of some of these young players.
Right. And, like you said, women's sports and exposure, we're getting the exposure. And so names that you think about, there's Aster Talley. She's this 15-year-old that was just down at the Augusta Nationals Women's Amateur. She, finished in the top, tied for 44th last year out in Lancaster. 15 years old, competing, with these professionals. So, it's a great time to support it. That's what we want individuals to know. I thank you for letting me come down and visit, and just tell people, tickets are on sale. It's you can buy a ticket at 17 years and younger with adult. You can get in free. You can walk the whole rope lines. You find that player. You find that swing. You find somebody maybe you connect on social media, and you can walk all 18 with them.
Is there a limit to how many people you can have out on the course watching per day? How does that work?
No, no, not at all. And we want to break records. They're anticipating somewhere between the 12 to 15,000 a day. That will come through and watch those players. Obviously a little smaller than we had in 17, but they set records the last 2 years, so that's just a number, and we'll get everybody out.
Well, and people love the opportunity to see the best of the best, especially in the state of Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
They turn out for these kinds of things.
They do. And the nice thing is they've made it known that parking is going to be on property. So if you've been out our way, we've got a massive property and a lot of area around us. So you don't have to take a bus. You don't have to get scanned through there. So corporate hospitality, volunteers, any spectators and fans can park right on property. So it's a small walk, and you're through the door and now into merchandising and buying all the things you want.
Just wear comfy shoes to follow your favorite player, right, along the course.
That's a very good tip. Yeah, it's not a great place for heels or any kind of dress shoe.
Don't want heel divots in the course.
Well, let's stay in touch, Chris, as you have updates throughout the course of time until we lead up to the tournament. Looking forward to being out there. It is one of my favorite places on the planet, Erin Hills, and you throw in the idea of major golf, and it's a pretty great combination.
We are very excited, so thank you.
You bet. Chris Schoonover is the Director of Tournament Operations for the Women's U.S. Open, coming to Erin Hills May 28th through June 1st. 12:26, news coming up.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike at the nation's largest bike sale. I'm Amelia Kegel with Wheel and Sprocket, and our Bike Expo sale is back at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds this weekend inside the Expo building. Electric bikes, road bikes, cargo bikes, mountain bikes, kid bikes, hybrid bikes, all on display and ready to ride. So whether you're seeking health and wellness, adventure and fun, or just a new hobby, the path to your new journey leads to the Bike Expo sale. And remember, all of our bikes come with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, which means you can ride it for 30 days. And if you don't love it, we'll refund your money.
Find it, buy it, ride it. Find it, buy it, ride it.
Find a bike, buy a bike, ride a bike. Friday noon to 8, Saturday 10 to 8, and Sunday 11 to 5 inside the Expo Center. Visit bikeexposale.com for details. Admission is free.
Life is short. We'll see you at the Bike Expo.
Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine. We've got everything you need but the water. Got an old boat, a new boat in between. Kendor Marine, upholstery and parts, hard to find things. Kendor Marine. Cruise to Kendor Marine, we've got everything you need but the water. Everything you need but the water. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine, we've got everything you need but the water. Like a boat-loving kid in a candy store. Kendor Marine. If you have a question, we have the expertise at Kendor Marine. Hey boaters, cruise to Kendor Marine, we've got everything you need but the water.
Easy to find at 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin or KendorMarine.com.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
12:30, I'm Greg Matzek. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, April 9th. Your top story, a former prison warden could end up in prison.
I'm Jessica Ty. Do sports stadiums need tax breaks?
Cloudy today, a PM rain-snow mix. Slushy accumulation possible, a high of 42. That mix ends early tonight with a low of 34. Mostly cloudy on Thursday, slight chance of rain, and a high of 42. Warm up for the later part of the week and into the weekend. 45 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:31. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, agreeing to plead guilty to misconduct at Waupun Correctional Institution.
Randall Hepp has a plea and sentencing hearing scheduled for April 28th. He had previously pled not guilty to the felony charge last August. Hepp is among 9 former employees at the state's oldest prison, originally charged in connection with the deaths of 2 inmates in February of 2024. Both inmates' bodies were not discovered until several hours after their deaths. The Wisconsin State Journal reports Jeremy Chalker, a former correctional officer at Waupun, had his charges dismissed earlier this month. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
He asked for a new judge to hear his case, and he's going to get it. 40-year-old Michael Gerard made the request today after pleading not guilty to felony theft and computer crimes. Gerard worked as a Marquette University residence life employee and admitted to securing a decade of free rent for his university apartment by altering documents. He's due back in court next month.
Well, one Wisconsin congressman says it's time for taxpayers to stop paying for professional sports stadiums.
Why are we having, in essence, special provisions which give breaks to the billionaires who own these stadiums?
U.S. Congressman Glenn Grothman is introducing legislation that would end the use of federal taxpayer money or tax benefits to build or renovate sports stadiums.
You need special treatment for businesses whose employees are making $10 or $20 million a year. That seems ridiculous. Oh, we can't exist. Come on, give me a break.
Lambeau Field, American Family Field, and Fiserv Forum all used public money. John Merkier, WTMJ News.
A building in downtown Milwaukee is going from office space to living space. The Mitchell Building in Waterham, Michigan will add about 60 apartments starting this summer. The historic building has been mostly vacant since its anchor tenant, Laughlin Constable, moved to the Associated Bank River Center in January. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports the conversion project will cost about $20 million.
Debt forgiveness for veterans, thanks to a partnership between Verizon and the Green Bay Packers. Verizon Great Lakes Market President Andrew Brady tells WTMJ.
We also employ 8,000 veterans at Verizon and one of the largest employers of veterans in the United States. And so effectively what we're doing is when they have health related and it's a stressful time, what better way than a random act of kindness to wipe it clean? All of these people don't know it's coming. They're going to get a letter from us and ForgiveCo and the Green Bay Packers, and it'll be forgiven.
The plan is to forgive $3 million in veteran medical debt over the next 2 years.
Sports, traffic, and weather next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:33.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritwear is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
So no joke, we did like a deep cleaning thing over the weekend, kind of a spring cleaning, air out the house a little bit, clean the windowsills, all that stuff. My job was to clean the poorly made blinds that I bought from the big box store a couple of years ago, full of dust. The ropes are kind of fraying. Like, it just doesn't look right. And as I'm doing it, the valance falls off. Okay, now we got a problem. I should have gone to Bumblebee Blinds years ago when we built our house. We didn't do much in the world of window treatments. But now we're looking to make that investment, and Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee is where we will go. Expert advice made easy. It's Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee. Transform your home with custom blinds, roller shades, drapery, shutters. If you want to say, Alexa, open the blinds, you can do that. They've got stuff that'll fit your style and needs. It's Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee. Expert design consultations, trained in this space, stress-free installations. Schedule a free consultation today. Window treatments, done right. It's Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee. Refresh your home, book that free consultation. You're going to receive high-quality expert design advice along with stuff that works. They've got a design eye and an eye for engineering. The guidance is there, stress-free installations, and in most cases, they'll walk out the door with a quote. You'll be ready to go. You'll understand what the project entails with Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee. Simple Google search. Bumblebee Blinds Milwaukee will take you right where you need to go. Book now.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they called a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Rockies tonight, game 2 of a 3-game series from Denver. Coverage gets underway at 7:05 on WTMJ. The Bucks have won 5 straight. 3 games remain on the regular season schedule, including Thursday night against the New Orleans Pelicans. Milwaukee currently in the number 5 position in the Eastern Conference playoff race.
Let's get you an update on the traffic right now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a new incident. I-43 south of the ramp from Locust Street. Right lane is blocked. due to a disabled vehicle. So just a heads up, that's an area that has construction, and we are starting to see slowdowns. The other crash that I mentioned, let's look at both of them. Those two have cleared, so for the most part, we're looking good otherwise.
Cloudy, and eventually it'll be rainy and a little snowy. Some slushy accumulation possible later tonight, and that should end by late tonight, maybe before the early morning hours. Tomorrow's high just 42 degrees, back into the low 50s inland on Thursday. It is 45 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:38. We're singing in the studio. That means our good friend, CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. It's a layup for him. If we know the song, he certainly knows the song.
It's catchy.
Let's go to Washington, shall we? Hello, Scott.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. That's Pebbles, Giving You the Benefit. And Pebbles is the same singer who did Mercedes Boy and Girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Pebbles. I don't even remember Pebbles, but wow. I remember those lyrics. I was singing them.
She's now a pastor, and she preaches the good word through an online program for the faithful, and she also is very active in the churches in Atlanta.
Pastor Pebbles. What a name.
Yeah.
That's catchy, too.
Some good alliteration there. Scott, it's hard to get anything by you. I wanted to start with some breaking news here. So President Trump, we've been talking about tariffs here for seemingly the last couple of weeks. Just moments ago, this is some breaking news saying that he is going to pause. He's going to put a pause on reciprocal tariffs for 90 days. The 10% tariffs is effective immediately. And this has sent the market surging. The Dow is currently up over 2,000 points. The Nasdaq is up over 1,200 points. The S&P 500 is up over 300 points. Massive turnaround, massive gains. Still trillions of dollars of losses and a long way to go to recoup what's been lost. But nonetheless, this 90-day pause, I know you're digesting it just the same way we are and trying to put some perspective behind it.
Yeah, let's be very unambiguous. Trump blinked. He has surrendered this Don Quixote-esque effort to get tariffs on every trading partner across the world. In making this announcement, he leads with the fact that he's trying to ratchet up further this newly installed tariff on China. And he blisters China for not engaging, not talking to him in the hours or days since this began. But he also says because there are 75 other nations who have called, he's calling off all these newly instituted tariffs that have been put in across the board. This is a backtracking by the president at the urging of so many economists, so many major business owners, major corporate executives. Elon Musk, I mean, he's been sort of begged to get this in the rearview mirror versus in front of the windshield, and he's done that for every nation besides China.
What do we know about the president's new talks with foreign nations that he cites in having this break?
Well, he characterized it colorfully last night in a speech here in Washington. He says they're all calling and kissing his backside, trying to negotiate with him. But they haven't read out what those negotiations, what they are. Have they begun? What have they yielded? It's been more of a broad conversation the administration seems to be having with 75 or so other nations. But a lot of this is seat of the pants, moment by moment shifting of trillions and trillions of dollars in the well-being of the U.S. economy. And no matter what the market says right now, no matter what the markets said yesterday, this volatility portends something else, an instability in the U.S. economy, a lack of predictability, a lack of trust that not only we have in our own institutions, but that other nations have in the U.S. economy. And that's going to take a while to repair. That doesn't happen in the snap of a finger, or in this case, the metaphorical blink of an eye.
So to reiterate, Trump is going to pause reciprocal tariffs for 90 days, except for those levied on China. Now, we've seen the pause before with Canada and Mexico, and ultimately those tariffs were back on the table after, I believe it was a 30-day pause. So what do we assume is going to happen in this 90-day window?
The president may use this as leverage to get new trade agreements with some U.S. trading partners, those who are particularly friendly, those who may not be, those who have a trade imbalance that he wants to rectify. But there's damage to the economy that's been done. There's damage to the economy that may linger for the next 90 days during this pause. And the administration is going to have to wrestle with that. What are you going to do to make up for the trillions of dollars that have been lost over the last few days? What are you going to do to shore up confidence in the U.S. moving forward? Again, you have consumers already dialed back, concerned about what's to happen next. Those of us who've got good memories of 2008, like clear memories, I should say bad memories of 2008, do they hold off on buying that car? Do they hold off on buying a new home? Do they hold off on any in remodeling of their kitchen because they're worried about what's happening down the road in the economy? If so, that starts to impact the economy and hurts all of us.
Well, and we were just talking about it during our last hour, too. You now have some of America's most recognizable companies weighing the implications of President Trump's trade war, Delta Airlines being one of them, Walmart being another.
Yeah, and does this instability, does this lack of predictability encourage some employers to hold off on hiring? Because that's always the death knell, isn't it? People don't remember so clearly now that in 2008 and 2009, the Great Recession, the stock market collapse, it was triggered by a bubble in the housing sector. And people were overvaluing houses, or to a degree, buying houses they shouldn't have been. That's what triggered it, but it metastasized into its own pernicious, cancerous thing, where people stopped hiring, mass layoffs, people stopped buying, and that had to be unraveled over the course of years. That risk remains. Even though this tariff war may have sparked economic concern or economic instability, it's going to take a while to fix it.
Scott McFarland joining us from Washington, CBS congressional correspondent. We heard locally, Scott, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson saying he's concerned about the impact of the tariffs on small business in Wisconsin, and it just sort of goes to show, even those loyal Trump supporters have looked at this saying, hey, at some point the bleeding has to stop here. What do we say to our constituents? Was that chorus of Republicans and loyalists to Donald Trump, was that growing larger in Washington in your perspective?
There weren't many declarative criticisms from Republicans, but you picked the one that was most resonant to me. Ron Johnson, as we've known him for so long here in Washington and in Wisconsin, been here more than a decade, has been an unequivocal supporter of President Trump, has been an unequivocal supporter of Republican policies and the conservative message here in Washington. That he broke publicly on the idea of these tariffs and the impact of these tariffs was noteworthy. If we noticed it, the White House noticed it. There haven't been a lot of voices out there saying things, but he's one of them. And when he joined that small chorus, it was noteworthy, and I think it was important.
We are hearing from so many people who are concerned about the tariffs, who are against the tariffs. Who is verbally defending the tariffs, besides, of course, the president?
Those who are paid by the White House are defending it. Those who are very closely aligned politically with the president, I can think of a few members of Congress in particular who've been unequivocal in their support of the tariffs, at least of tariffs in general. For example, you've got some Republicans in Pennsylvania, steel country, where they've long advocated tariffs, especially on China, long before Donald Trump came along. They've championed the idea of tariffs. It's hard to find somebody not on the payroll, though, who has been defending this very impromptu and very high-level set of reciprocal tariffs that the president had on until a few moments ago. I mean, it is a volatile concept, what he put out there. You saw what it did to the market. You see what it does to people's confidence. You didn't have a whole lot of surrogates on that tariff scheme.
And right now the market's, again, surging. The Dow is currently up about 5.5% with the news that Trump is pausing tariffs, about 8.5% for the NASDAQ, S&P 500 about 6.5% with a little less than 3 hours left to go on the trading day. Switching gears, Scott, I noticed this on your X feed. We've been talking about it a little bit on the program. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to resume using the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to speed up deportations of suspected foreign nationals. Can you describe the impact of this ruling?
Yeah, a reminder, the 1798 Alien Enemies Act had not been used in the U.S. since the Japanese internment of World War II. It is a historic thing the Trump administration has employed here. It allows for expedited deportations without traditional deportation proceedings in court or due process. The Supreme Court has reopened the door to those deportations for now, as more legal challenges surface over the use of the Alien Enemies Act. But there's a big caveat. It requires some form of due process, which makes it an awful lot similar to the current deportation proceedings. It's unclear what due process is going to mean, what the Trump administration thinks it's going to mean, but I can bet the mortgage there's going to be more lawsuits filed over the next time the Trump team uses that 1798 law.
Scott, something else that we talked about during our last hour was the judge ordering the White House to give the AP, the Associated Press, access to the Oval Office once again. And I think it's important for people to hear from more journalists. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's the access by the AP does impact their business. If they have to get everything secondhand, they lose the foundation of what makes the AP the AP. They're efficient, they're like a wire service. They get the baseline information out in real time. If they're not functioning in real time, if they're waiting for secondhand information, the kind of foundation of their business model crumbles. It really hurts them. I think the broader issue here, though, is if they were expelled, limited access because of what the content of what they said. Remember the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America was the dispute there, but that has a chilling effect. And some of the Republicans have gone to court and argued, you can't do this, White House, because the next guy could be a Democrat and will kick out Fox News. And we can't have people policing access to the government based on what they say. More foundational than just people's thoughts on Donald Trump.
Thought it was interesting. The judge, Trevor McFadden, is a Trump appointee. He ruled in favor of the Associated Press against the administration. But McFadden, Judge Trevor McFadden, stayed his own ruling until the end of the weekend. Why did he do this?
It takes a few days sometimes for court orders to get implemented. Judges know that. They'll often give a few days for things to be implemented. That's not uncommon. I'll tell you, I watched a lot of Trevor McFadden in action, this judge you've never heard of from Washington. He handled January 6 cases by the boatload. He was the most lenient January 6 judge out there. It was noticeable, and he was often, his name changed from Trevor McFadden to Trump appointee Trevor McFadden. When people were discussing him here in Washington, that he gave this ruling really does give it some heft, because that is a Trump-appointed judge who's been accused of being too, I suppose, loyal to Trump orthodoxy.
Scott McFarland joins us every week from Washington, CBS congressional correspondent, lover of everything 90s R&B. Very timely, our discussion today, Scott. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
And if you missed it, here's the breaking news is that President Trump will pause reciprocal tariffs for 90 days, except for China. And the message has the markets just absolutely flying right now. You want to talk about wild gyrations in the market? You've seen it today. Some mixed results early with 2 of the 3 indices in the red, and now everything is flying well into the green.
Yeah, the Dow up more than 2,000 points right now to 39,774, but below that 40,000 mark. And remember when it was such a big deal, okay, the Dow was about to hit 41,000, 42,000, and so we fell quite a bit, so we're going up, but there's a ways to go for people.
90-day pause. We'll see what happens during that course of time. 12:50 on WTMJ.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hey, we've got tickets to give away. You could be the winner if you're interested in seeing Jim Gaffigan, his April 13th show at the Riverside. We got an opportunity for you right now if you're caller number 5. Caller number 5 at 855-616-1620. 2 tickets to see Jim Gaffigan's April 13th show at the Riverside. Caller number 5. He's done a number of specials before. Very talented guy. 7-time Grammy-nominated comedian. He's an actor, writer, producer, you name it. Does a little bit of everything. And it'll make you laugh. It's Jim Gaffigan's April 13th show at the Riverside. We've got a pair of tickets for caller number 5. 855-616-1620.
Steel walk behind, zero turn, and stand on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Ridge Lawns. Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services.
Now's the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Coldwell Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce selected varieties Stone Ridge ice cream, 2 for $7. 18 to 24.6-ounce selected varieties Vandecamp's fish, $4.49. 4.5 to 5.3-ounce selected varieties Dan and Greek yogurt, 5 for $5. 9.5 to 10.75-ounce selected varieties Hostess mini donuts, 2 for $4.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh. Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a goner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
You were in an Uber over the weekend. You didn't leave anything behind, did you?
No, thank goodness. But real quickly, it was an interesting Uber, not just any Uber. It was an Uber shuttle. I took the subway in New York City to Penn Station, and then at Penn Station, I jumped on an Uber shuttle to go to the airport, and it was like 10 of us, and it was cheaper, and it was fabulous.
This list cracks me up every year. If you've ever left something behind in an Uber, you are not alone. From a Viking drinking horn to Ozempic.
The horn?
Even a live turtle. Pretty much anything has been left behind in Ubers over the last 12 months. Phone, keys, wallets, that tops the list. Not a surprise.
Yeah.
The winner of the most forgetful city was New York City. Also not a surprise. For whatever reason, the most forgetful day, October 26th.
Oh, that's weird.
But
I wonder why.
riders don't leave by essentials, right? The phone, keys, wallet thing, I get that. But it's not just the essentials that are left behind. So there's this 2025 Lost and Found Index that Uber puts together every year. Have you ever seen this?
No, I don't think so.
It is full of the most bizarre items possibly left behind that you could think of. In fact, you're probably not even thinking that a mannequin head with human hair would top that list of the most unique and bizarre items left behind in an Uber. But it does, according to Uber.
Maybe that was somebody who works at a store, and it's like their thing to create the mannequins, put the clothes on.
Oh, there's
it does
always
seem
a story.
weird, though.
I'm sure there's always a story. The Ghostbusters ghost trap, a chainsaw, breast milk, fine china, a turtle, a sticky boob bra. Might need an explanation on that.
A sticky boob bra. Oh, I bet that's one of those. It's not really a bra, but it's the stickiness that it's like so you don't have to wear a bra.
Oh, okay.
And it's sticky.
So if you got a dress that has open shoulders kind of thing, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Ding, 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 ding.
15 hookahs.
Sticky boob bra.
Pickleball paddles, DNA testing kit, a unicycle, and sea moss. I kind of like the live turtle.
I'm still stuck on the sticky boob bra.
Yeah, well, if you're stuck on that, you are not alone,
Ladies,
right?
if you know, you know.
That is the idea behind it, I assume. News coming up in just a few, 12:56 on WTMJ. Make sure to check out the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast. All the great stuff from our show is up there. Gina puts it up each and every day. And very timely, might I add. Just text the word Midday to 855-616-1620. We'll make it easy for you. Siding Unlimited, the proud sponsor of the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
Brewers baseball is the sound of summer in Milwaukee. And now you can catch the Brewers on local TV for select Tuesday night games.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she
It's Brew Crew Tuesday